What a day. Um, if you haven't heard about what happened to Nicki Minaj on Twitter, you should look into it. Um, Basically, what happened was she relayed an anecdote. A relative in another country knew somebody that had a bad reaction to a thing, and by relaying it and then asking questions about it, she was going to put a poll out for people, how they felt, where they stood. She got shut down. So then she took to Instagram and did a live video. Over 120,000 concurrent views was the highest. However, this means that probably 300,000 or 400,000 people actually saw it when it was live, and it's still up, I believe. So if it's still up, she's got 1 point some odd million followers or something, or 75 million, or I don't know. There's a ton. A lot of people follow her, and she's asking all the right questions on this Instagram. And before she got shut down on Twitter, she cited something that Tucker Carlson had said and said, but he's right. And somebody said, but he's some kind of a right-wing white nationalist, whatever. And she goes, yeah, dude, but think about what kind of a place we're at where I can't say the guy's got a point because of a particular political party or whatever. And then she starts talking about if the Democrat Party told you to put marbles in your ass, you'd be doing it. She really opened up, and she got shut down, and then she went to Instagram. Her followers are aware of it. There was a chanting bullhorn and signs protest at the CDC's headquarters, and what they were chanting was things like, Nicki told us the truth, Fauci lied, and all kinds of fun things. A few content creators and channels have picked up on this fact, and Nicki Minaj is trending currently on Twitter unless they've squashed it. Some of the people that are picking up on it that have already put something out have basically said, like, this could be the thing that triggers enough people to really start questioning. A lot of people have been on that edge. They've already been battling with the, it was Karlin Borisenko that mentioned the cognitive dissonance and hoping that Nicki doesn't fight the truth. But there's a lot of people that I believe have already been fighting the truth. They're at a point where they're well aware that they're being lied to, and there's just this one little hang-on of hope that everything that they thought was true isn't, in fact, a lie. And with Nicki Minaj getting cut off like that, and her going, yo, wait, what? To a large enough audience, it's possible that last little thread gets cut. And boy, you thought them hokey, fake-ass riots last summer were bad. Who dog is? But it is simply necessary that people wake up. What they do with that just all depends on everything else. There's a lot of variables. So that's one piece of news today. Another thing, there's this thing called AUKUS. Sounded like AUKUS when the Australian and British dudes said it, but it's AUKUS, AUKUS. And it is an Australia, UK, United States alliance. Brilliant name. AUKUS. What this is a commercial, intelligence, and military alliance between the three whitest, most English-speaking nations, basically. And excluding Canada for some reason. Oh, I know why. Because they're letting China camp out in their mountains. The first order of business of AUKUS is going to be an 18-month consultation period during which there's going to be the logistics, design, and construction of a facility for the logistics, design, and construction of a nuclear-powered submarine fleet for Australia. US and UK already have their own. This is important because this places a regional power in, as they are calling it, the Indo-Pacific, with a, eventually, in a year or two, rather sizable submarine fleet. High technology, cutting edge, new submarine fleet. Now, assuming that the woke idiots don't ruin that, assuming that there is competence on some level somewhere, what we get out of this is everybody's worried about defending Taiwan and the fact that the United States is probably not in a good position to defend Taiwan, even though everybody they took out of Afghanistan, maybe they can throw at Taiwan. But people train for the desert is not the same as people train for an island or the area surrounding an island. And honestly, without the Navy, it would be hopeless. So then add Australia with a new sub-Navy to that equation. So, for once, a good idea has come forward from this, so it seems. The announcement was made in a three-way teleconference with each of the three figureheads of their respective nations or whatever, standing with two monitors, each showing the other two. The Australian dude spoke first, the British dude spoke second, the American dude spoke third. It was obvious that this is Australia's idea because their dude spoke first. He was very proud and excited about this. Never mind the fact that while they are working on expanding this fleet that is going to combat China, at the same time they have gone medical fascist in their own country. As has Britain. The United States hasn't, but they've got their own issues with corruption and authoritarianism and whatnot, right? And we question whether or not the United States is already, as a government, compromised by the country that this three-country alliance seeks to fight against. We'll see how that goes. So then Johnson spoke. See, I don't even remember the Australian Prime Minister's name either. But Johnson spoke. He knew what was up with everything. He's definitely paying attention. He looks like a doofus. Looks can be deceiving. You put people off their guard, or you let them, let them fall into a false sense of something because, you look like an idiot. Speaking of idiots, Johnson then says, "And your turn, Mr. President," because they knew that Biden was going to require a cue. See, what happened was after the Australian dude finished speaking, he just went. And waited for Johnson to speak. So then Johnson spoke, and when Johnson was done, he goes, "Your turn, Mr. President." Well, there's no other presidents, there's two prime ministers, which means that Mr. President can only refer to Biden, which means that doddering old fool's ears hear, "Mr. President, your turn." And he goes, "Oh, my time to speak," and he reads off the teleprompter. Except first he went off script and greeted the two guys, and he looked to the right and said, "Thank you, Prime Minister Johnson," and he says, "And thank you, Mr. Guy from Down Under. Nice to see you, pal." Like, obviously forgot his name. And then started reading the teleprompter, and I think the guy's last name is Morrow or something, and it was on the thing, so we read it. And then Biden started to, dodder after about, I want to say probably 30 to 45 seconds of speaking, and then he coughed a little and then sped up his speech and got more coherent and used bigger words all of a sudden and was continually coughing as they were applying some kind of stimulant medication of some sort, probably intravenously, but he kept coughing and he got worse because if they're not causing him to every time he'd speed up and become more intricate with his speech. If that doesn't have to do with that, then that means that he's got the coof again. And basically, America's just riding along with the budget and some technology to lend assistance to Australia. Biden did an admirable job getting through a 5-minute speech. Oh, yeah. And the gaffe of the day is that he was saying something about looking forward to the decades ahead, but he accidentally said the decades of head, and then he corrected himself. So it was like looking forward to the decades ahead, like real quick, but he definitely said decades of head. So two things I can't blame the guy for, unless there was something really inappropriate going along with the decades of head. But that and not remembering the Prime Minister of Australia's name. Of course, Norm Macdonald passed. I think a lot of folks don't realize the impact that actually had, too. A lot of people came together for a little bit on it. All sides of things were like, oh, fuck. Even the people that didn't like his political or religious stance on anything were like, oh, man. Everybody loved Dirty Work. If you haven't seen the movie Dirty Work, go see the movie Dirty Work. It turns out that he had been battling cancer for some time, and as I was watching the tribute to Norm Macdonald on Steven Crowder's show today, which was extended by like 45 extra minutes or something, half an hour, to just get in their entire Norm tribute before they switched over to their exclusive off-YouTube content. Norm did a lot of jokes in his last 5+ years that had some oddly specific information included in them that in retrospect you can find out exactly what was going on. He was telling jokes about the varying tiers and levels of extraordinary pain that would come from having bowel cancer under the guise of a joke about alcoholism being a disease, and asking a guy with, terminal cancer, like, what's your symptoms? And then he explains the symptoms of the pain of stage 4 bowel cancer in a really in-depth way that gets the crowd laughing, because this comedian's just going on deep into the diagnostic. And he goes, what's your symptoms? And the guy goes, oh, I get happy. And there was a number of things about that that now in retrospect that he was talking about what he was going through without telling people that was what he was talking about. So a long battle with bowel cancer is something. That is something. That's a lot to deal with. So we lost a comedic genius, and right at the same time, everything else is teetering at the brink, and right at the same time, from the look of it, Twitter done screwed up with Nicki Minaj, because I think a lot of people are going to get woken up. I think that'll be good. There's a lot of folks that just nobody wanted to say anything. Everybody was afraid that they were the only person that would say anything. When you realize that everybody else wants to say it too, that is the time to say it. So I'm going to end this here, blissfully short. Tomorrow's my day off. I'm going to do some logging and other stuff. Cats are going to fight, apparently. And, a mass wake-up will be messy. I've stocked up on food for me and for my lovey cats. Babies, come on! Can we not, please? Can we please not? I have 2 guns. I have ammo for both of those guns. I have food for over a month. For me and for my cats. Well over a month for the cats. Should the utilities cut out, I have water for several weeks while I work on a filtration setup, which I already have most of the means for anyway. Tomorrow's task is firewood, because winter's coming. Eventually. But it should be nice enough weather that I've got some segmented logs that need split, and then I've got some longer logs that need segmented and possibly split. Clear out the giant bardocks from the firewood pile, and kind of that's tomorrow's job is firewood. I did get some mowing done on the lawn. Maybe I'll do a little video on where the mower's sitting right now. The drive belt is stretched beyond use at this point. It keeps coming off the pulleys at the slightest bumps, and my yard is full of molehills. So, yeah, but I got the important parts cut. Basically some outdoor tending to do as the seasons begin to change, and I'll start getting some footage of the changing colors, and we'll compare to the deep, vibrant emeralds that I had over the summer. It was really, really green out here. Even now it's starting to change, but if we're lucky this year, we'll get a real large, broad gradient of colors over time like we did last year or the year before that. It's been really nice. So, video's over. Hope everyone's having a good day. Tomorrow, Thursday, is my day off, and as of signing off, it is 2:44 in the AM, Thursday, September 16th.